told Joe we should call it around. I think you saw it about 1,300, considering that we're gonna buy $100 gift card for it. Yeah, which is still pretty darn good.
Well, here we are again, Dan.
Hi, Bill.
And this is podcast 11, first one
Yeah.
for the new year.
I know. Happy New Year, January. It's colder than the North Pole, so we are broadcasting from Arctic Circle today.
You mean Palm Hill?
Yeah.
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 For those who haven't guessed.
Yeah. We've never mentioned it. We always called it something silly like
Hooterville.
Yeah, Hooterville. Yeah.
Because we've been told we're a hoot,
Yeah,
but
we don't
that's
mind
okay.
that at all. We don't mind that. So the first thing we kind of want to talk about, we had to support our medical equipment program that we've talked about in the past, where that we loan out in our park, which everybody knows about. We recently had a taco feed, and we fed over 160 people.
Yeah.
We had fish, we had chicken, we had beef, we had 20-something volunteers come in, and we made over $1,300 for this program. What a huge success it was, Bill. I mean, our buddy Joe, who ran it, I call him my brother Joe. He was great. He did a great job. Everybody did a great job. Nobody dropped the ball. It was awesome.
I want to say something on that you guys did a great job. I mean, I know I had started it, and then
Everybody
we got together.
did. No.
But I want to tell you, you guys did a fantastic job, because I kind of stood in the background a little bit. I helped with the cooking, and that was about it, because I can't do much anymore. My back went, and that's it.
I should have brought my stick.
But you guys did.
Bill gave me this
the
big
king cooker.
The big cooker, yeah, because we was stirring these big old pans of beef and chicken and what have you. Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, you only made 60 pounds of beef.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But I want to talk about the fish.
We even had some that was donated, the beef. Thank you so much for that anonymous donation.
And but I want to talk about the fish too. The fish was also donated.
Yes, it was.
And by good friends of ours. I won't mention any names because he asked us not to.
Yep.
But by very good friends of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in, brought it with him, defrosted it, grilled it.
Cooked it up, served it.
And served it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wonderful.
He brought two different kinds of fish.
Yeah.
But rather than confuse people or go get into I don't like that kind, we decided you asked what kind of fish we were serving, we served you fresh.
Yeah, it was
fish.
fresh fish.
That was it.
That fish was caught a couple of days just before the dinner.
It was never frozen.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, that's right. He had it laid out. He was drying it. Mm-hmm. He wasn't defrosting it right. He was drying the fish so it wouldn't spatter all over the grill.
Somebody else mentioned as a fan feedback to stop chewing on the microphone. Well, we don't mind chewing if you don't like it. Put some earplugs in or something, or get something yourself to nibble on. That'd be fun.
And we are working on sound deadening microphones. I've got an old one, but evidently it's old and it has decided to retire. So we're working on webcam microphones, and they're good ones. They're very sensitive.
They are.
There's very little adjustment on them.
So we haven't had much feedback from anybody. I mean, I got a few things here and there that we talked about, that we already talked about. And, of course, on social media you hear things, but we really want to talk to people. I know today's topic we were going to talk about was elections, but one of the important things we wanted to hear about was women on the board. Why don't any community board that people have, are there women involved? How do you get more women involved? I mean, there was a whole bunch of things here. This had like little video clips, 5 minutes. So I'm not going to go through them all, but you definitely want to encourage. We had 2 women that ran for the board this year. Unfortunately, neither one of them made it. Congratulations for stepping up to all of the board members who did, especially the ladies. I appreciate you taking that effort and doing it. How do you get more people involved? I mean, that's the thing, And one of the things I was looking for is I started asking questions like, do you have a good old boy circuit? Do you have like a revolving door in your board where, it's just the same people, or maybe just a different face from the guy who lived next to the guy who lived next to the guy who bought your house or whatever. We have a lot of that, and it's a shame and that's why we want people to step up. We encourage people that we would want people to, who are like thinkers, I guess you'd say, I mean, I encourage the board in our park. I really do. I give them all the support in the world. I hope that things work out for them.
Well, There's a couple of issues that I have to begin with. One of them is they never want to listen to the membership.
Never.
They keep proving it. They proved it at yesterday's meeting, and they just want to keep passing their silly little pet projects, and they don't want any feedback from the membership. He says, "Oh, you can go to committee." Well, the committees, they don't want to hear you. They don't have time.
I was surprised, Bill, by the fact that the ones that did get up to speak yesterday, and our that people in our membership that included chance the opportunity to speak about finances or different things, the different projects that our board accomplished last year. I was surprised by the fact that nobody brought up the fact that we spent almost $1 million last year on this, that, and the other thing, and how many of them you bragged about, but you didn't complete.
Yeah.
Or aren't working correctly.
Yeah, because they weren't. The supervision wasn't there when the project was done.
A $60,000 fob system. That's an easy take. I know it's only $60,000, but that's $60,000 across 10 projects. Adds up.
Yeah.
So it's like all of a sudden you try to use your fob to get into someplace, you can't, and you get a different reason every time you ask. Why is it not working? And our park amazingly puts up with it. I'd be like, what the hell's wrong with this?
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of money, they should have somebody on site until it's perfect.
I heard they actually had the president of this company that installed this system on site, and they have a punch list. Well, hey, why don't you start punching some things out of that punch list and let's move on. It's those of us who can't get into areas, it sucks.
Yeah, they got paid.
Yeah, sure they did. Of course,
but,
absolutely. One of the things that we have in our park that we've stumbled on a couple of times, and I wanted to share these numbers with you. In any park, if you don't have the type of pickup, like TVs, for example, I happen to have a few friends that we gather old TVs that nobody wants or you can't use, and we'll take them and pay the $12 for our Pinellas County solid waste and get rid of them. We try to collect them. But, for those who other things, here's a number for mattresses. The guy his name is Diaz Mattress. He recycles mattresses, refurbishes them. It's a great thing for low-income families to get something like that. So recycle it. And his phone number is 727-768-9518. Very nice guy, from what I've heard. I never talked to him. But another guy, his name is Lenny. This guy I've actually talked to. I actually helped Lenny load somebody's refrigerator. These are for appliance type things. He loves to take them. He'll strip them down. Of course, he's going to make a few bucks on them, but our community's not going to take them. I don't know about yours, so why not call this guy, let him make a few dollars. He'll take it off your hands. His name is Lenny, and his number is 727-667-7301. Give him a call for appliance type stuff. It's really cool.
Nice thing about doing it on this podcast too is if anybody didn't get the whole number, you just rewind it a little bit and listen to it again.
You can always text me, call me. Same thing with Bill, I'm sure. We wish our own community would support that and just let people know. I guess occasionally, if you know somebody, they might do it for sure.
Right. You'll see it posted on one of the websites, on one of the Facebook pages. But
we had a town hall for the finance, and our finance committees proposed a big hit to our HOA fees. I don't know about the rest of the world. I mean, it's still compatible to the rest of the world, I guess, but it seems like an awful lot at one time, which kind of brings us right back to that 211 member services we talked about a few times, where you need to find places that you can get help. You can reach out to us. You can call that number. They'll send you a directory, the kind of things, because when you have an HOA increase of over 75%, an increase, that's what it equals to. So over 75%. That's a big hit for anybody, especially if you're a single, one-income family. I want feedback from everybody in my park. You know who I am. Some people watch these podcasts. When I see you, I'll ask you the same question. Did you attend our finance town hall? And what was your feedback for it? Did you have good feedback, negative feedback, positive? Give me some feedback on it. I couldn't make it, so please do. I'd like to hear from you. What else you got, Bill? Anything good? I mean, you want to talk about some of these things here?
Yeah, let me see that.
Sure, this one here was kind of funny. Why don't politics have why there's no truth in politics? And I was curious to know why. And
well, let's see.
Yeah, some of the points just gives you some interesting perspective on what people think.
Okay, Politics often involves navigating complex social, economic, and cultural dynamics.
I know.
Where truth can sometimes take a backseat to other priorities. Yeah, that's true.
You got
Goes
that
on
right.
around here.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
got that right. It's over there. No, it's over there.
Yeah.
It's
There are some reasons why truth-telling is not always central in politics. And it goes on here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it happened last month. They brought up this whole thing about this large increase to our HOA fee, and they were trying to push it all off on that, well, our lease is going up, the land lease. So I'm sitting there, and I says, well, wait a minute. That don't sound right. So I asked the question, how much of this increase is for the land lease, and how much is it for the HOA fee? You know?
Because we
Our
all
treasurer
expect-
didn't want to answer that
Nope.
question. He went on and on about 2 minutes,
He never answers
and
it.
he never answered the question. So I says, you didn't answer the question. And he went mute, you know. Thank God somebody had the answer that was sitting there, and it was our manager. And she was very happy to, give us that information. But it's amazing how, the treasurer just doesn't want to answer questions about the finances of the community and how they're being done. You know, they're trying to slide a $20 increase on our HOA fee into the whole thing.
That treasurer that you're talking about, that's why I refer to him as Pee-wee.
Well, we got him, and we also got Cook in the Books.
Yeah, oh my
And
God.
there's a few
the,
others.
The Dragon Lady.
Oh,
Oh,
then
my
the Dragon
God.
Lady, yeah, too, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's how, is a very true statement. Here are some reasons why truth-telling is not always central in politics.
That's crazy.
You know, appeal to public opinion. That's what politicians often want to do. They prioritize that. And what is popular emotionally.
I think they
you
did
know?
a pretty good job appealing to that yesterday, begging for, because I did this right, I did that right, I did this right, that right, and the other thing right, too.
What did we sit through, 20 minutes of that?
No, actually, if you really added it up, I would say it had to be about 40 minutes of it, Bill.
Was it 40
Because
minutes?
you had
I
to
don't
hear
know.
from you had to hear from the president about his input, and then you had to hear from each committee, which was 3 times. So I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
You're
were
right.
talking about updating the paint in this room,
Yeah.
you talked about it 4 times.
Yeah, and they're always complaining about long board meetings,
Yeah.
but they had no problem doing that yesterday,
No way.
did they?
Yep.
Tooting their own horns, you know?
For what?
And like you said, Dan, I wonder how many of those projects they talked about that actually reached completion or,
Well,
are
of
still not working properly.
Well, of course,
You know?
when you think about like our pool, it's a big project, $200 and something $1,000 or whatever. The pool's been down for over 2 months now. It's going to be down at least another month or whatever, a couple of weeks at least. And then a lot of people say, well, it's not really pool weather. Well, you really wouldn't have had anything to say about it. If it had been done, it would have been fine. You could have used it or not, one way or the other.
It's not whether the pool could be used or not, or the weather was cooperative.
It's finishing
The
it.
problem was we had a contract with a contractor, and he told us 6 to 8 weeks. We are now at 10 or 11 weeks. I think it's 11 weeks now.
At least 11.
Right? And they're nowhere near done.
Mm-hmm.
They're still putting pavers down. They still got holes dug for the plumbing that they could have fixed while they had this. They told us they had to wait for the pavers. They were out of stock.
Then they got
You
the
know?
wrong ones.
And then they got the wrong ones. Give me a break. Give me a break.
That was my
So they had to reorder them,
That was
and
my
nothing was
favorite.
done the whole time that went on. Why weren't the plumbers there taking care of all the plumbing problems that we knew about? Instead of having to go in back now, they're putting pavers down. They had to stop putting the pavers down because they got to fix the plumbing. I mean, it's a joke.
Yep. It's crazy.
There's more going on here than meets the eye, and it's very, very disheartening.
I mean, there's a lot of projects that were like, hey, spot on, did a great job, awesome, but
Sure.
I mean,
We got the shuffleboard building sitting there.
oh my gosh.
It was
don't even think
damaged
about
during the hurricane, and it still sits. Nothing's been done. Nothing.
that. Tear it down, tear it down.
They say they can't get bids. How hard are they looking for them?
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, all right.
Yep. There's so many different things listed here about, not telling the truth. Competing agendas between political opponents.
Politics as a whole is just crazy.
Yeah, it
I've
is.
never enjoyed it. It's why I never fit into the board. I don't like lying to people. I don't like stabbing people in the back. When people ask me what's going on, I want to be truthful with them.
Yeah. There's one here I don't agree with. Simplification of complex issues. No. Our people here love.
Oh, yeah,
complex.
I know.
They don't want you to understand what's going on, really.
Well, you mean
You
they'll
know.
talk about this, that, and the other thing, and one's
Yeah.
over there.
We've had some big bids come in and big projects of theirs. Not that the community wants them, and I've always suggested, why don't we bring a representative in from the company that we want to use? Bring him to a town hall and let the people ask him questions.
Yeah, and have a hear.
Oh, no, they won't do that.
You hear what they say?
They won't do that. Nope.
Always something questionable.
Yeah, it is very questionable
It
the way
just-
things are handled.
I never
you know.
want to accuse anybody of anything like cooking the books or sweeping things under the rug
Well,
or
we
whatever.
know he did.
I don't really
We
care.
know he did.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he admitted it, on videotape.
yeah, it's true that.
Yeah. And of course, they reprimanded me for using that term. Give me
That's
a
because
break.
you brought it up.
So that's what they didn't like. I
It's
brought
all
it up.
your fault.
Yeah, I caught him.
It's
And
kind
that's
of
what they
like
didn't
a parent telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that, you better. And then all of a sudden you see that they're doing the same kind of thing. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, let me bring you back in here. I just realized you weren't up on the screen. There you go.
I don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
No,
I'm also the director, and I forget to do things, so please excuse me. And but we're getting there. I think the podcasts are coming out a lot better now. The sound is good.
I want
And,
feedback is my biggest thing. I don't want to have to rely on just you and me asking and answering the things that we didn't
Yeah.
like or want to know about. I want feedback.
Yeah, here's one. Self-preservation for the board. Admitting hard truths and mistakes can be politically damaging.
That was one of my favorite.
So politicians might obscure facts to maintain their position and reputation.
Yeah.
In other words, outright lie to you is what they're saying.
And if you had an election not going your way, whether it be a board, HOA board, or whether it be your own community, or whether it be the government, I googled this as I thought it was kind of cool. Trying to wonder, well, how people cope with disappointments. I know we have a good friend who's a Democrat, and he was bumming big time when he heard that a Republican candidate won the presidency.
You mean Trump?
Oh, Jesus, did I say that? I don't want to offend any audience members, especially the Dragon Lady. She's so anti-Trump. I mean, I understand there's a lot of things about Trump you don't like. I agree with that, but a lot of things about Biden I didn't like either.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways.
Always is.
That's politics.
Always is. But how do you deal with it, You practice mindfulness, self-care, focus on local engagements. What do you do to help keep yourself busy? Connect with supportive communities and groups. Physical activity. I mean, this is just, and those around, no sense of sitting around and just, he won. Yeah, it doesn't do you any good. It's really not good for your healthy, So I'm just trying to help you find some ways, acknowledge the emotions that, hey, you're bummed, you're sad, and get over it, move on. Figure a way to get by it,
So, but no, that's about all I got.
Yeah,
Dan.
I mean, it wasn't too exciting.
It's been a heck of a ride, and the election,
Yeah.
of course, didn't come out the way we all had hoped it would.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we hoped at least to see a little bipartisan stuff, but none. Again, 2 years in a row, which is statistically impossible. Their slate won every position. And that's like, if you really look at it statistically, it's like an impossibility for that to happen.
I mean,
Especially when we're all running good candidates.
Well, if you look at those numbers that you and I had talked about earlier that was in that email, Bill, of course, there's only about 50% of our homeowners voted.
Not even that many.
Yeah, right, not even that many when you look at the total.
Yeah.
And if you think it's unfair, and if you think it's acceptable to be on social media or at the social events that we have in this park and saying, well, Bill's an idiot, then you should have come out and said that publicly on paper or on electronic voting by saying, I don't want to vote for Bill. I hate to pick on Bill.
It's all right.
He's
I'm a big boy.
He's like a dad to me.
I'm a big boy, I mean, you're not the first one to try and pick on me. You know that. They tried again yesterday, so. And, of course, they always ask the question, who was bullied? Yeah, right.
They say we have about 600 and something members that are registered for electronics.
Right. And they're saying we only had 200 and something votes.
You only had, 300. Or, 296. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's only half of people who registered to vote.
Yeah.
So why would you register if you're not going to use it? I guess that's one thing I'd ask you. And then you had 206 paper ballots submitted. So, if you had 600 homes that are willing to do electronics, that left another almost 500 that still want paper. And of course, add the Canadian mailing in there. If you're from Canada, that's going to delay everything. I heard horror stories from people right up until yesterday, never got their ballot.
Yeah.
To me, if you're sitting there telling me or texting me or whatever, I never got my ballot. Don't be blaming somebody else for that because you had plenty of time to step up and say, hey, where's my ballot? You know? Really.
Well, their answer to that was, well, you can always come down to the office and get one.
Well, yeah, and you should have.
You know,
that way you should have.
A lot of them did.
Yeah.
A lot of them did.
If you didn't get it,
I'd like to know what happened to a lot of those ballots too, though. I mean, they say only 88 people voted against using funds in a disaster.
Yeah.
I talked to more than 88 people.
I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah, I thought the number was a little skewed.
Why would you want to give everybody the okay to use your money without having some kind of say in that?
Yeah.
Especially when they're from another country.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a guy I worked for a paper mill up in Millinocket, Maine for 30 years. Oh, excuse me, 15, 18, 20 years, whatever it was. Anyway, they had like 2 or 3 different owners. They had one guy, they said his plane was so loaded with money when he left to go back to Canada, it could barely get off the ground, you know?
Well, that's another scary proposition too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If most of our borders from Canada, or a good
Yeah.
part of them, good many of them are, the executive committee especially.
Yeah.
And you know, if they decide to just take the money and go back, there's like no recourse for us to get that.
We got $500,000, almost $500,000 in the over $500,000, almost $600,000 in our savings account alone, and they want to take half of that.
Well, they spent it yesterday.
For solar, exactly.
They spent it on a project.
One half of what you have in your savings. Imagine doing that to your home.
Yeah. That they're not going to see a return on for at least 6 years, 6.9 years.
Almost, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they keep saying, well, we're going to see money right away. I said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You forgot the $300,000 you spent.
I just hope.
You know, they're trying to say we're going to see savings on the electric right away. I says, yeah, and you're going to use that to counter what we spent for this system.
I just hope.
I think it's a farce, the whole thing.
The stability of the buildings that you brought up, to me, is
Yeah.
a big concern. The maintenance of such a thing, like cleaning it. Oh, everybody, you got there soap and water and squeegee. Yeah, I could see some of these people getting up there with soap and water and squeegee in.
Yeah.
Yep. I want a video of that. Watch out, Rivera there, whatever his name is, America's Funniest
These people have no idea. When they're working on a roof, you got to follow OSHA guidelines.
Yep.
This is a commercial business.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be certified to wear a harness. You can't just go to Home Depot, buy one, and go up there. You got to go through a training class on what to do if you fall with a harness on, or you'll kill yourself instantly. You know, and there's all kinds of other things. The maintenance, yes.
Yeah.
Longevity, yeah. The panels are guaranteed for 25 years. I didn't see anything in there that they were going to, you know, reinstall them for free.
Nope.
So, you know,
Nope.
we're talking all kinds of expenses that they didn't want to talk about.
Just too many questions.
Our insurance alone is going to go up over $5,000 a year to insure this solar system they're putting in. That's another $5,000 a year. You know, 7-year feedback. Let's say 6.9.
Yep.
That's 7 years.
Nothing
right?
you can do to stop it now. That train.
That's $35,000 you're going to
train
add
left
to that.
yesterday,
You
yeah.
know, probably more than that, right? But
So-
there was no stopping them yesterday. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to hear it.
Almost $1 million on
Yeah,
this.
I
that,
tried
and
to
that.
table it until I could at least have a town hall or a workshop on it to
Mm-hmm.
hear what the community wanted. Because the community don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
They want them to take that $300,000 to go start fixing our roads in here. We got roads coming apart. You know? But they don't want to hear it. You know, they did make mention today that the planning committee is going to look into that next year to see what's going to be done.
Well, they also mentioned
That'll be 2 years before anything happens.
They also mentioned that the cost of this whole project might be offset by any money they make on the cable deal. I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of weird. Did you hear that yesterday? It's like,
Yeah, we don't. Well, you see, this board and this finance committee that we have, they do not want to look at cost cutting.
No.
How to save money. All they want to do is spend, spend, spend.
I want this, I want that, and I need that. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Fairway's HOA fee increase was this year?
No.
$5.
Well, that's pretty compatible to ours. Ours is expected to be $205. Theirs is expected to be $5.
Well,
That's not bad.
realistically, even if we take the land lease out of it, okay, because they own their property. So
Right, true that.
Let's-
So
let's go a little bit more.
$189. So then,
but we got the $20 increase.
yeah,
They're getting the
Percent.
$5. Last year we had 15. The year before that we had what, 41?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
over
what's wrong with this? Somebody's spending money someplace and
Almost.
just, you know,
14 years I've been here, almost $200 it's raised.
yeah. Yeah, and they don't pay for anything. Everything they want to do here has got to be done by volunteers.
And I've never gotten anything extra in the 14 years I've been here.
No.
Nothing.
Nope. So, but the golf course is still almost free.
Oh, the tennis court?
You know, I mean, where else can you go and play all year round
I gotta ask my buddy
for
Joe.
$550?
Oh, trust me, that's the biggest threat to this park.
Oh yeah.
Not that you're gonna take it away from me,
No.
or close it and
Well, let's
put
see
new
them pay a
houses
little
in.
bit. They didn't even raise enough money with their
That's
fees
right.
this year
To-
to cover the cut
That's
the
right.
grass.
I thought that was a joke. $110,000 they raised, and they're gonna pay out 160, 180.
Well, they raised a little bit more than that. They raised about 140 altogether.
Okay,
And but just to cut the grass,
it was 100.
we paid a guy $163,000 for the year.
That's not even
Nice
including.
salary, I'll tell you.
That's not including the materials, the
Upkeep on the equipment, all of that, and the gas.
Yeah.
Any fuel that they use is also extra.
Well, that's the
They
thing.
also don't show you any materials that are used to keep the golf course up.
So-
Fertilizer, pest control. Right now they're in the middle of rebuilding the whole sprinkler system.
So here's something
know.
to think about. If you listen to these and you have some family, friends that is a vendor, of course, tell them to come to this park here to talk to our park and our management. Make a bid on something. They'll give you a deal of a lifetime for whatever you want to do.
Once you join their club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're gonna join their boys club for sure. Yep.
So
That's about it for me, Bill.
yeah,
I
let's
got
wrap
nothing
it up
else,
then because we're going long again, you know, and you know me.
Always good
I
seeing
listen to
you.
something for about 20 minutes and then it loses my interest. So
Give me feedback.
Please,
Feedback.
please.
Feedback.
our email address is up there.
Yep.
You can go on YouTube and you can make comments.
Yep.
We'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to the channel. And, you know,
What do you want to hear about?
yeah, and let us know. Give us
Yeah.
topics, you know.
For sure. We'd
Let
love-
us know what's going on in your
I'll-
community. We'd love to talk about it, you know.
I'll do the research.
Yeah. And a little plug before we go away. St.
Uh-oh.
Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're doing corned beef and cabbage dinner.
Yeah.
Looks like the tickets are going to be about $15 a piece this
That's
year. We had to raise it a little bit because
That's a good
corned
deal.
beef has gotten real pricey. But it's, you know, corned beef and cabbage dinner. And it'll be an old-fashioned dinner. It'll be corned beef, cabbage, boiled potatoes, carrots, rye bread.
Mm-hmm.
And,
can't wait.
you know, it'll be a nice evening.
Hope to see you there.
So we did one 2 years ago, and it'll be good. Everybody loved it. So get free and that, just let us know, and we'll see about getting your tickets. This is not a Palm Hill event. This is what we call a MESCO event, which is the Medical Equipment Supply Company in Palm Hill. It benefits the residents of Palm Hill, but we're a standalone, non-profit corporation holding this event.
Don't you mean Boot Hill?
Yeah, so it's open to anybody that wants to join us.
Come.
There is going to be a limit on seating because we can only seat so many people, but because of the fire laws and everything else, you know. But if you want to come, let us know early, and we'll reserve you tickets for you. And again, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. We like doing these, and we want to continue doing them. So
Yeah. See you
hopefully
all soon.
we'll talk to you again next week. You got anything else?
That's it. Be good.
Adios,
Be safe.
amigo.
Have fun.